Good morning. I'm Art Lewis. Nice to have you with us. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll be talking to Donna Clark, who directs the Emmaus House. Along with Bill Federspiel, the sheriff's going to be performing at an Emmaus House fundraiser we'll tell you about. At 11 o'clock, the Dow Tennis Classic will be the subject of our thoughts. This hour will be a split hour. We're going to start out playing an interview that Jonathan Dent did on internet safety. And then after that, we'll have open phones. So without further ado, Jonathan spent some time talking to an expert on internet safety, and with what's been in the news and everything, we thought it would be, a smart thing to do to put forth some of this information. And here's Jonathan.
Hi, everybody. Jonathan Dent here with WSGW. We're talking today about a subject that we've talked quite a bit about on the Art Lewis Show, and it's something that I'm pretty interested in as well, and that comes with internet safety, specifically kids on social media. And joining me today to talk about that is Dr. Garth Graham. He's the global head of YouTube Health and former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary for Health. Dr. Graham, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining us. So when we're talking about safe use of the internet, it's something that we've had quite a few conversations on over the years, but especially when we're talking about social media and the use of it. What are we seeing?
Uh-oh. That's not good. Silence is never good. Well, let us see why that is. Well, let us try this again, just for the fun of it. You gotta love these computers. Don't know what happened there.
Hi, everybody. Jonathan Dent here with WSGW. We're talking today about a subject that we've talked quite a bit about on the Art Lewis Show, and it's something that I'm pretty interested in as well, and that comes with internet safety, specifically kids on social media. And joining me today to talk about that is Dr. Garth Graham. He's the global head of YouTube Health and former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary for Health. Dr. Graham, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining us. So when we're talking about safe use of the internet, it's something that we've had quite a few conversations on over the years, but especially when we're talking about social media and the use of it. What are we seeing in youth when it comes to these screens that we seem to always be attached to?
Yeah, so there's so much that kids can gain from an online experience. I'm a parent myself, and my son has learned so much from watching videos on math and his math club and math content. So there's a world of experiences there, but there's also challenges and things that we have to do in terms of protecting our kids, and so. What we see out there is a lot of positive benefits, but helping them navigate through the challenges. And that's why, I often say, it's about teaching our kids how to navigate within the digital world, not from the digital world, as they're digital first, digital natives. They kind of think with that lexicon in mind. And so that's really what the goal, I would say, is how do we help them navigate within the digital world.
I'm glad you brought that up because there are a lot of positives to operating in digital space for kids, especially educationally. I mean, you have a ton of information out there, and that often gets lost when we're talking about safe use of the internet. So when we're looking at where that information is being accessed, a lot of the times we're talking about social media sites, and of course you're with YouTube, and that's one of the most popular ones out there.
Yeah, so you're right about a lot of the benefits of video content. YouTube is a major part of what teachers use in schools. And we see that a lot with all our children. And so around the world, it's a big part of the educational system because there's so much information there. But again, as you pointed out, that's important to understand is how do we balance with helping kids have this high quality, positive online experience, but also navigate them through the challenges and keep them safe.
What are some of the safety tools that are out there that maybe parents can make use of to make sure that things don't go off the rails?
Yeah, so we think often when I'm talking about these, I would say we think about this in terms of a couple of ways. So one is, as parents, you have to set boundaries for your kids. So think through the amount of time you want them to spend online, spend on YouTube, as well as when they do spend their time, what are some of the boundaries you want to set? So for instance, we now allow parents to set the amount of time that their kids spend scrolling through short form video on YouTube through a short form feed, so they can set that to 60 minutes, and soon they'll be able to even set that to 0. That's just an experience. That's just an example, I would say, of how boundary setting using some of the tools on the platform. The last thing I would say is it's important for kids to have age appropriate experiences. So my 10-year-old and my 13-year-old are at different developmental stages and benefit from different kinds of information. So setting up your teen accounts or your young kids accounts so that they're going through age-appropriate experience is really particularly important.
A lot of times you mentioned that kids these days are digital natives, and that's a term I've heard used many times before. But a lot of times the older generations have a hard time knowing what they're looking at when they're trying to set these boundaries and figure out maybe what is age appropriate, what's an appropriate amount of time that kids should be using screens. How can parents and grandparents and teachers even better prepare themselves to interact with this digital world?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. One is I say, always spend some time viewing, co-viewing with your kids so that you see what the content is that they're engaging with or the information is that they're engaging with in general in terms of their digital and technical journey. So that's one aspect. And then the other thing is, we've simplified a lot of these parental accounts and the ways in which kids can then sign up, not only sign up, but, you can switch between accounts, so kind of toggle from a parent from one child to the next, and so they have different, protections and experiences. And so it's important for parents to become familiar with these kinds of tools and these kinds of experiences as well.
When it comes to the actual platforms themselves, a lot of responsibility is placed on them to make sure that they're being responsible with what is being shown to their consumers, and kids especially are a sensitive audience. What kind of things are in place? What are common practices in the digital space for these platforms to keep kids safe?
Yeah, and so one is, having robust parental tools, as I just articulated earlier. The other is having the kinds of policies and guidelines that, remove harmful information across the board, whether it's harmful to kids or adults. And so it's really important for, us, as a platform, as a leader in this space to, again, have the kinds of tools that allow parents to, design the experience they want for their children. And then also, outside of that, protect against harm on the platform.
When we're looking at time spent in these social media spaces, a lot of times that's where things get out of control, is the endless scrolling, and obviously time limits, a new tool being put into place and being refined as we see more and more of that. Can you talk a little bit about the effect that spending that amount of time on social media can have?
Yeah, so it's about the quality of the time and the quality experience. If you're spending hours and hours of math and learning, and that's a different experience than if you're viewing other content that may not be as beneficial. So sometimes it's important to kind of understand what the experience is like I said to you before, and then also use these tools to drive the kinds of experience that you would want for your kids. It's a combination of both, understanding what's, the experience of your child, and us as a platform, working to promote those positive experiences. And then also, again, like I said, creating a lot of these robust tools.
Absolutely. I like the delineation, quality and quantity. You can spend a lot of time on high quality content and it might not be that bad, but where the quality starts to degrade, and that's something that, at least in my opinion, parents play a huge role in, and it's great to see more tools being put into their hands to be able to control that and be the responsible adult in their child's lives.
Yeah, no. Thank you for allowing us to have this conversation. I mean, it's important for us to work to educate, parents on, these tools and, what things we can do to empower them.
Absolutely. Dr. Graham, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to connect with you again, as this is a topic that continues to evolve. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Jonathan Dent and Dr. Graham, we thank him very much. Internet safety, always an important topic. All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We'll have open phones for the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111.
Hi, I'm Jen.
And I'm Kevin.
Got a closet full of clothes that need freshening up? Trust the name families have relied on for over...
With you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show, with open phones for the remainder of the hour. And we'll go to them and say hi to Carl in Saginaw. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Art. I wasn't able to listen to your show on Monday, and I was wondering, did you talk about the halftime show from the Super Bowl?
Very briefly, only because I didn't watch either of them. I watched the game, and then I took care of personal stuff during the halftime.
Okay, I was going to ask if you watched it, and you've certainly seen the news.
Yeah, here's what let me back up just for a second, because what I did do was back up because everything is on the system I have at home. You can always go back and look at it a certain period of time back. So I did back it up just to see what was going on and what it was like. Musically, hey, listen, there is no denying his popularity. None whatsoever. I wasn't thrilled with some of the visuals I saw, but I only watched for 30 seconds maybe. So I'm not in a position to be overly critical. But I did not watch the Kid Rock one either. So, to me, the halftimes go on 3 times longer than most halftimes, and that's the Super Bowl, it's the gig, and it's all done for the audience. So, listen, what do I care? I knew nothing about Bad Bunny before this, and don't know a lot about him now. And that has nothing to do with Spanish music, because I happen to love a lot of Spanish music, even if I don't understand a word of it. But I know nothing about Bad Bunny, other than the fact that he's one of the most popular artists in the world right now.
I don't listen to his music, but I'm aware of him.
Yeah.
It's just that some people seem to, just lose their minds, over the way this show happened, and that it was in Spanish. Some people just couldn't seem to get over it.
Well, he made a comment which he later backed away from. But he made a comment a week before the performance about everybody, you should have to learn Spanish. That was not a smart thing to say when he's in the United States of America performing at the biggest event in the world. It was not a smart comment, but he backed away from it. So,
Sure.
listen, he's got a right to say what he wants to say anyway, like anybody else. I chose not to watch, but then again, I chose not to watch any of the halftime shows. Rarely do I watch them. Nothing to do with him, because I didn't watch the Kid
Right,
Rock one
okay.
either. I mean, that's just the way I am.
Well, I saw some clips of the Kid Rock show, and it looked pretty poorly produced.
Yeah,
Apparently,
well,
the audience wasn't very
all
good
right.
for it.
Here's the reality: the 6 million plus is not a bad audience. That's what he had.
Well,
Now, here's the thing. Those on the left would not watch Kid Rock and would make negative comments about it in the same way that those on the right panned the Bunny Show without even watching. So, it becomes political discourse, which is too bad because it should be just entertainment. But it's not.
yes.
And he brought some of that on himself with his comments at the Grammys. So, but again, he's got the right to say it, but there are consequences, and people chose to say something about it. Big deal. I'm sure the NFL was happy.
Yep.
They had a big audience and everything was fine. So, and on we go.
Yes. You've seen the gas prices go up the last couple of days.
Yeah, up and down a
you-
little bit, a few cents,
you-
yeah.
Well, I'm seeing $3.19. Yeah,
I didn't
most
see
of
that.
places.
Oh, I've seen all I've seen
well.
is $2.80. I just bought some at $2.80 and I had a discount. I think I paid $2.74 or something like that.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you if you knew why prices were going up.
It's a commodity. No, it's one of the great mysteries of the world how gasoline is priced. It's literally
Okay. Well, I thought maybe there was some, refinery problem or pipes frozen or something.
no, I don't know. I have no idea unless it has to do with the world marketplace and sanctions and what have you. I don't know, but it is a commodity and it does go up and down a few cents because I listen to the reports and it's always fluctuating a little bit, but not to the degree we see at the pump.
No.
But
No.
the other thing about it,
there's
though,
no
there was
understanding that.
but there was a time when every gas station was priced exactly the same. That's not true anymore. You can drive around and see
There
a
is some
variety of prices.
variation.
Yeah, there's a lot more variation than there used to be.
And sometimes just a few blocks away,
Yep,
there's a variation.
sure.
You
And then
know.
if you really want to get it cheap, you go down to Birch Run or Bridgeport, I should say. That exit, when the Love gas station was built there, the truck stop forced everybody else to lower their prices. So the Speedway across the street and the Love battle each other. And there's always a good deal if you happen to be down there. It's not a good deal if you have to drive
Yeah,
down
if
to
you've
get
got an
it.
excuse,
Yeah,
you have an excuse to be going that way. I always check it out. Do you look online, for gas prices before you take a trip, or
no.
do you just you don't do that?
If I gotta go, I gotta go. If I need gas, I need gas. It's
I know, but you can look ahead and see.
Well,
maybe
you
I should
can.
get it in Bridgeport.
Well,
maybe
yeah.
I should get it in Clio.
yeah. No, I
or
know.
Maybe I should get it in.
If I'm driving someplace where I'm going to be using gas and have to refill before I go home, or refill on the way, I will pay a little bit of attention to it. Yeah, but for the most part, I fill up at the same station all the time, and don't even think about it. But I try and
Oh.
if the prices go up, I try and use less gas.
You know
Drive
what-
less.
You know what surprises me, Art? Have you ever seen prices go up and a bunch of people rush into the gas station where the prices have already gone up? Have you ever?
I've seen them rush in
Yeah,
where it's
I-
gone down, but I haven't seen it when it's gone up.
No, I've seen where prices have gone up, and all of a sudden, people rush in to fill up their cars at the station where the prices have already gone up.
Are they afraid they're going to go up more? I don't know. All right, I got to take a break.
Maybe.
All right, Carl.
Okay,
Have a good
bye
one.
now.
Bye-bye now. We'll be back. We'll get to Mike, and we'll get to others in a moment.
Gotta go.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. I have so many things I wanted to talk about, but I think I'm going to limit it to one. Elections, I kind of, everything you say I kind of agree with, that people just should get out and vote and all that kind of stuff, but people don't, and, it's their business. But it's so important. But I listen to the politicians, and of course this is coming from basically one side, where they're against voter ID. That you can't get voter ID. You're keeping people from voting by demanding that. First off, when they interview people on the street, and this are usually impartial interviews, the people say, "What do you mean we can't get? We got all different kinds of ID. There's got to be at least a half to 3/4 dozen different ways you can get your ID that don't even cost anything. Well, of course you do for your automobile license, but to drive. But there's so many other things like Social Security, and almost everybody has a Social Security number and a card. I don't know if you can use that as an ID though or not. But there's credit cards. There's library. They used to accept library cards as ID. And people, they can't get ID. Yep. These people are not illiterates running around the street. They almost everything you need an ID for.
Yep.
And it's crazy.
When I go to vote, I got to show them my driver's license.
Yeah. Well, I've been
depends on where you vote.
Yeah. I Thomas Township, and I vote absentee because I have a hard time standing up. My back.
Well, that's fine. I understand that.
So I do that. But and that's beside the point. What I'm saying is, though, I've never heard of anybody that couldn't get an ID to get in. I not heard of one person that's been rejected at the poll because of that. And yet, why do some of these politicians? I'm not going to get into liberal and conservative, all that kind of crap.
You don't have to. It's
why they? Yeah, and they just why are they demanding it? Because they want more voters, and they figure they can cheat and get illegal people, which it's against the law to vote if you're not a citizen, but it doesn't seem like they care. Well, they do care because they're worried more about getting their party elected than they are about security in the United States, comfortable living. There's so many things that people can get by just voting for the person and what their values are and what they're promoting, rather than just vote because they're a Republican or Democrat. To me, it doesn't make sense. But people don't have sense. They don't have common sense anymore. I don't know what happened to this country, but
that's
a lot
a broad
of
brush. There's a lot of people that don't, but that's a broad brush.
I know that. And I'm not saying everybody. I never said everybody once in that statement. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that, and maybe not even a lot of people, even a small portion of people that don't have common sense.
There's always been that.
Well, yeah, but then why, I just don't understand why they want to destroy this country because you don't have common sense.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, take care, my friend. Have a great day now.
Thanks,
Stay
Mike.
warm.
Bye-bye now. Here is Kim in Bay City. Kim, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
I am well. Hope you are.
Good. I am, too. Hey, after getting some flack for not watching the halftime show, I watched it.
Oh, did you really? Would you go back and watch it? Yeah.
I did, yep. And the reason I didn't watch it is because I don't understand Spanish. And just like if it had been in Polish, or if it would have even been a different kind of music that I don't listen to, not heavy metal, I wouldn't have watched it. But to try to be sensitive to the people that were upset that I said I liked the other program, I watched it. And here's my take, okay? The music was definitely upbeat and catchy. The scenes and the set were full of symbolism that was worthy of praise and recognition. And it even had a number of heartwarming and positive events and messages. But the hand gestures and crotch groping ruined it for me.
That's funny you say that, because I didn't say that before, but that's exactly what I thought.
Yep. And just as I was ashamed and embarrassed by Roseanne Barr when she sang the national anthem and groped herself, I would be embarrassed and ashamed if I were Latino to be represented by Bad Bunny with all of his own junk jerking. And then at the end, one of the gentlemen that was dancing with him as he left, he grabbed himself, yelling at the camera for a long time. He held himself, and then he flipped off the camera.
Yeah, I did.
So
That's...
it's sad that something that could have been positive and impactful was tarnished by many distasteful choices.
Yeah.
And I would encourage Carl and anyone, look up Bad Bunny's lyrics. I didn't know anything about him other than he sang Spanish. But when you look up the lyrics to his songs, they're filthy. And they're full of
a lot of them are.
Male anatomy, female anatomy, the F word. Like,
but it sells.
What part of that was...
It sells. What can I tell you? It
terrible.
sells.
I know.
Which is why he did the halftime show. The NFL knew it sold. I just, I had the same reaction you did for the very little bit that I watched. I happened to catch that same thing you're talking about.
Yep.
And
that's why I didn't watch Michael Jackson, because he did that all the time too. Like, it had nothing to do with race. It was like, what are you doing? And also, I didn't even know Kid Rock was going to be in the other program that I watched. I knew there was going to be country music, so I switched it to that one. And when Kid Rock started performing the first time, I left the room because he came out dressed like apparently he normally does in his concerts, or he did, and he was dancing dumb, and he just looked goofy, and he was singing crap. So I left the room.
Well,
and I came back in the living room when the violin started.
Yeah.
And then they introduced this guy, Robert Ritchie. And how dumb am I? I didn't know that was his real name, because after I watched for a minute or two, I looked at my husband. I said, I think that's Kid Rock. That must be his real name.
Yeah.
And he sang a beautiful song, and he gave a beautiful testimony.
Yep.
Telling everybody that Jesus is for everyone. That anyone, like it, you can.
Well,
you got to. Yeah.
Bottom line.
It's beautiful.
Bottom line. You can't please everyone. That's what makes a horse race. In the same way that there are people who don't listen to this radio show because they don't like me, and I'm well aware of that. Others do. That's fine. And the people that perform for us, big stars and medium stars and little stars, it's the same thing. They will not please everyone. And
right, but
so
they should have tasteful.
Well, but
child-appropriate stuff on TV.
I would agree.
Like, what the heck?
I would agree, but there is a certain slice of the population that loves that stuff, which is why they do it. It sells.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Kim,
okay, well,
listen,
you have a great day.
At least you had an open mind to do it, and that was good. Thanks a lot.
Well, all right, you take care.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right, Gene, hang on. We'll get to you next. Let me talk about my friends at Quick Lane Freeland on the McDonald Ford property. Quick Lane Freeland is the part of McDonald Ford where you go for all your routine maintenance, including tires. They sell all their tires for just $5 over cost. And yes, there's a difference. You've heard me talk about the difference between winter tires and all-season tires, but I'm not the expert. John at Quick Lane Freeland is the expert, and I've asked him to explain it.
Hello, Art. Yes, winter tires are made with a pliable rubber compound that includes silica to stay flexible and maintain grip in freezing temperatures. Unlike harder all-season tires, which stiffen and lose traction in the cold, this flexible compound allows the tire to better conform to the road surface, providing superior grip and traction on snow and ice to keep you safe.
And that's what it's all about, John, keeping everybody safe. Stop in today and have your tires checked. And also, while you're there, have your cooling system checked, too, because even though it's warming up a little bit, we're still in winter, folks. Quick Lane Freeland on the McDonald Ford property. Two names, McDonald Ford and Quick Lane Freeland, that stand ready to help you with all your automotive needs in 2026. Stop in, visit them today.
Rocket Grab Plus.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show. Time remaining for a couple of calls. Gene is in Bay City. Gene, good morning.
Hi, good morning. On the Bad Bunny thing, now, Puerto Rico is such a poor country because of the hurricanes, terrible hurricanes.